is in this week's parsha that we meet up with Moshe Rabbeinu. There's no single personality in the history of the Jewish nation that comes close to Moshe Rabbeinu. The hand-picked leader by Hashem. To take on Paro, take us through the miracles, the Exodus, and of course, the one that brought Torah to earth, the one that taught the Jewish people Torah. As he was chosen as Hashem's emissary to teach us truth. He is the leader. In this week's parsha, we read some very basic traits of Moshe Rabbeinu. And we've got to understand that that's what leadership is made of. The first, Vayigdal Aish v'yitzei lechav. Moshe Rabbeinu did not have the same experience as the rest of the Jewish people. While they were enslaved, he was adopted by Paro's daughter and grew up in the palace. They were being tortured, dehumanized. And he was pampered in the palace. But Vayigdal Aish, when he grew up, V'yitzei elechav. He went to his brethren. He felt for them. He felt their suffering. And he gets involved. Sees an Egyptian hitting a Jew. He feels their pain and takes action. It's that feeling of responsibility. Although really it shouldn't have affected him. The feeling of responsibility, of caring for the nation and caring for the individual. And not just caring, but doing. So of course, there's no leadership without care. There's no leadership without personal involvement. There's no leadership from ivory towers. And then there's the second part. Hashem sends him as his emissary to Paro. And he says, why me? There are better people. The Torah itself explicitly tells us he was the most humble person on earth. Leadership and humility. How does that go? Humility means it's not about him. He's fine with having someone else do the job. He's doing it because it has to get done, not because he needs the fame, not because, wow, what an experience it's going to be. Not the excitement. Selflessness. It's all about the cause. It's all about the Jewish people. This is leadership. The Jewish people need help. There's so many Jews to reach. There's so much to teach people. The majority of Jewish nation doesn't know what it's rejecting. You got to care. You got to roll up your sleeves and get involved. And you got to leave your ego home. That's what we learn about Moshe here. The Torah world today mourns the loss of one of his great leaders, Ramat Yisrael Solomon, Zichrono Livracha, the Mashgiach of Beis Medrash Gavoa, BMG in Lakewood. Someone many of you never heard of. To begin with, he was brought from the UK to serve as Mashgiach in the largest yeshiva in the US. Yeshiva run by the children, grandchildren of the Cutler family with no lack of talent, but they had to bring in an outsider. That in itself says something. Yes, he taught Emunah, and he taught Musar, he taught about Midos. His understanding of the human being, the human psyche, his understanding of Torah values, it was all great. But what stood out most was his personal involvement in the lives of many thousands. Their personal lives their marriages, their kids, their issues. He carried the burden of practically every problem facing the yeshiva world in America. For a good part of the time, he was not healthy. Mustered whatever strength he had and a little that he didn't have. I was just there for everybody. See, that's leadership. It's not about a politician giving all of these speeches, talking about what's going to do, what he's going to do, and what's going to happen, and how strong we are. It's about getting involved with every individual and caring for every individual. And, of course, seeing the community and the nation as a whole and what has to be done. He was instrumental in encouraging outreach in Lakewood, which for the most part is built on individuals building themselves. Encouraged individuals, spoke about it openly. Gave all of himself to Klal Yisrael. That's leadership. That is leadership. Understanding the struggles. Rashi says with Vayigdal Aish, Vayetzei Lechav, he put his eyes and heart, used his eyes to see what's going on and processed it with his heart and felt it. Studying the issues of the generation, taking them to heart, and doing something about it. So there's another void in the Jewish nation. No one human being could possibly fill his place. There is so much Klal Yisrael needs. This is not a time that anybody can afford to focus on himself only. There's a time that everybody's got to think about the nation. Build yourselves for the sake of being able to help Klal Yisrael. This is not a time to build yourself for your own sake. Let's get the message. Let's care. Let's do. Let's bring the Jewish nation back to where it's supposed to be. We need many leaders. And in essence, every Jew is supposed to be a leader. certainly have the traits, and certainly do whatever he can. So let everyone become a Moshe Rabbeinu of sorts. And together, we'll bring the Geula Shalema.